The next topic is communication. Managerial communication is one of the major tools required for coordination in an organization. Transfer and sharing of information, an idea from one person to another to make it understood by the receiver and to achieve a favorable action. Managerial communication is the exchange of messages between people for the purpose of achieving common meaning. Individual providing information is called sender, and one who receives is called the receiver. In daily practice of an organization, various people act as sender while other as receiver, or both as sender and receiver. Effective communication, although is required at all functions of management, yet is particularly critical for leading and coordination. Managers need effective communication to influence and coordinate others. Purpose of communication. The communication is so important in an organization that managers rarely work with the things but rather with the information about the things. The purpose of communication are: number 1, means of linking people in organization. In an organization, people are linked together with the help of communication to achieve a common purpose. The group activity is impossible without communication because coordination and change cannot be achieved. Next, purpose of communication is means of integrated managerial functions. The communication is essential for internal functioning of an enterprise because it integrates all the managerial functions like planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling. Although the communication applies to all phases of managing, it is particularly important in the function of leading. Next purpose is means of linking enterprise to external environment. Communication relates an enterprise to the customers, suppliers, stockholders, governments, and community. It is through information exchange by which the management of an organization becomes aware of the needs of its customers, the availability of suppliers, feedback from the middleman, the regulation of government, and the concern of a community. The communication makes an organization an open system interacting with its environment. In an organization, communication is also needed to: number 1, establish goal and their telling to the members of an organization. Number 2, develop plans for their achievement. Number 3, organize human and other resources in the most effective way. 4th, select, develop, and apprise members of an organization. 5th, lead, direct, motivate, and create a climate in which people want to contribute. Sixth, control the performance of all the members and groups in a department. The next topic under communication is process of communication. The communication process involves the following elements. Number 1, sender of message. Sender is also known as communicator of message, is one who convey a message verbally, written, or with gesture. The process of communication begins with the sender who has thought an idea or an idea generated by some stimuli. The sender may be any person, a manager, a department, or an organization itself. Encoding. Under process of communication, the next is encoding. Encoding. Encoding is the translation of idea into a systemic set of symbols understandable by both the sender and the receiver and expressing the sender's purpose. Language is the major form of encoding. The function of encoding is to provide a form in which ideas and purposes can be expressed as a message. Next is message. Encoding results into a message. The message may be verbal, non-verbal, or written. What an individual hopes to communicate. Next under communication is purpose. Media is a channel or mean which links the sender with the receiver. It may be a memorandum, memorandum, telephone, telegraph, face-to-face communication, group meetings, and electronic mail through computer, policy statement, reward system, production schedules, and forecast. At times, 2 or more channels can be used. Next is receiver. The receiver is the target in a process of communication and anticipates the process of perception and decoding. Perception is receiving of message and converting into thoughts. The receiver understands the message in light of his own previous experience and frames of reference. Accurate communication can occur only when both the sender and the receiver put together the same or at least similar meanings to the symbols that compose the message. Communication is not completed unless it is understood. Under process of communication, the next is feedback. Feedback is a response of the receiver on understanding of the message. The feedback enables the communicator to verify whether the message has been received understood and has produced the intended response. One-way communication process does not allow receiver to communicator feedback. However, the feedback can be indicated indirectly in this communication. For example, lack of communication in an organization is indicated by declines in productivity, poor quality of production, increased absenteeism or turnover or safety problem, and lack of coordination between units. Two-way communication process, however, have the provision for such feedback. It is desirable to make provision for feedback in communication process because it decreases the potential for distortion between the intended message and the received message. The next under process of communication is noise. 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 Noise is a parameter which hinders the communication and is not desirable because its presence can distort the intended message. It can be present in any one of the elements. A number of sources of noise have been identified. The entire component of communication process has been elaborated in the figure. Your group leader will get the figure from me.